Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Dr. Ghulam Nabi Memon. Today I will present ultrasound guided intrascalene brachial plexus block. The objective of my presentation will be introduction of intrascalene block, relevant anatomy, pre-op assessment and preparations, indications of the block, contraindication of the intrascalene block, complications and side effects, prerequisite of the intrascalene block, equipment and logistics, sonoanatomy of the block, making position of the block, conduct of the block, intraoperative care, postoperative care, and clinical tips. Introduction. In intrascalene brachial plexus block technique, plexus is approached in the neck, above the clavicle, at the level of chest neck tubercle. We can see on the ultrasound, that is C6 vertebra. From surface marking, this is at the level of the cricoid cartilage. At this level, ventral rami of C4, 5, 6, 7, 8, T1 unite to form three trunks, which run anterolaterally towards middle third of the clavicle. At this level, the brachial plexus is sandwiched between anterior and middle scalene muscles in interscalene groove, which is a myofascial compartment. It is convenient to block brachial plexus with a single injection. This place is also suitable for catheter insertion. Interscalene brachial plexus block is excellent for upper limb anesthesia and analgesia, including shoulder surgery, which we cannot perform in supraclavicular or infraclavicular blocks. Okay, this is supplied by C5-6. Upper medial part of the arm is supplied by T2. So if you want to do surgery on the medial side of the upper arm, or if you want to put the tourniquet, we need a separate block of intercostobrachial nerve, which is very simple, just infiltration of the skin in the axilla. Relevant anatomy. Brachial plexus form from ventral rami of spinal nerves, lower 4 cervical and first thoracic, C5, 6, 7, 8 and T1. When the nerves emerge from the spinal column and they run downward laterally towards the middle third of the clavicle, and they form the plexus, which runs between the anterior and middle scalene muscles, which is called interscalene groove. It is a myofascial compartment. In this closed compartment, 5 nerve roots unite to form 3 trunks, C5 and 6 to form the upper trunk, C7 continues as a middle trunk, and C8 and T1 unite to form the lower trunk. Then they divide in division near the first rib, before the first rib, on the first rib, or sometimes after the first rib. Usually on the first rib we can find 6, 7 or 8 divisions like a bunch of grapes. Anterior boundary of the interscalene groove is formed by the anterior scalene muscle, and posterior boundary is formed by the middle scalene muscle. The brachial plexus runs from cervical region towards the upper limb in the neck, that is anterolateral. This is a diagram showing the 5 roots C5, 6, 7, 8, T1. Upper 2 unite to form upper trunk. Middle continue as such. C8 and T1 unite to form the lower trunk. This is a diagram showing the interscalene groove, and anterior and middle scalene muscles in between emerge the trunks. Perioperative assessment and preparation is same like every block. We do introduction, history, physical general examination. We request for investigation, risk assessment and grading, optimization and preparation of the patient. We take consent, keep the patient NPO, and view the side marking. Indications of the block. In this block, surgery can be performed on the upper arm, shoulder, which is not possible in supraclavicular, infraclavicular block. Elbow, forearm, wrist and hand can be performed under scalene brachial plexus block, but keeping in view the complications, side effects, supraclavicular and axillary blocks are preferred for hand surgery and lower arm surgery. Upper medial arm surgery or tourniquet requires separate block of the intercostobrachial nerve. Block is used for quality post-op analgesia. Early physiotherapy can be done because the patient is pain-free. When we want to avoid GA, this block helps. When vasodilatation is required in upper limb, we can use this block. The target of the block is trunks of the brachial plexus. Contraindications: patient refusal and non-cooperative, local infection and sepsis at the site of injection in the neck, allergy to the drugs, peripheral neuropathy, which is a relative contraindication, coagulopathy, bilateral block should be avoided because it can cause the phrenic nerve block, which is common occurrence. Intrascalene brachial plexus should be avoided in respiratory cripples. Complications and side effects. Total spine anesthesia can occur with this block. We are near the spinal column, so drug can move towards the spine, cervical spine, and can cause total spinal. Phrenic nerve block is common occurrence. Stellate ganglion block can cause Horner syndrome. Infection needs sterile technique. Partial block or failed block can occur. Damage to the cards, we can inject intraneurally, which is rare occurrence in this new era of ultrasound guidance. Pneumothorax is very rare occurrence in interscalene, which is common occurrence in supraclavicular brachial plexus block. Prerequisite of the block, we use a sterile technique. We need a good light source, IV access on the contralateral side, standard monitoring, resuscitation drugs, all including lipid solution. We need a trained assistant and we need facilities of GA in hand. We check for consent, NPO and confirm block site. Equipment required are basic standard monitors, high frequency linear probe and machine, minimum 12 MHz, 16, 18 are favorable. We need insulated B-bevel echogenic needles 50 to 80 mm length. We need sterile gloves, sterile cleansing solution, probe cover and sterile jelly. We need 4 towel or a whole sheet to isolate the block area. We need a 5 cc syringe with local anesthetic for puncture site analgesia. We need pressure measuring syringe with tubing, which can show us the pressure in the tubing or pressure during injection. Local anesthetic volume and dose calculate as per kg before the conduct of the block. Nerve stimulator is used to exclude intraneural injection. Sedative, analgesic, midazolam, fentanyl, ketamine are required. Facilities to convert the block in GA must be in hand. Sonoanatomy of intrascalene brachial plexus block. Ultrasound setting. We put ultrasound machine in front of our eyes on contralateral side. We use high frequency ultrasound probe with frequency more than 12 MHz. We use linear probe. We use in-plane technique and out-of-plane technique can be used. We keep the angle of needle with the probe at least less than 30 degrees. Depth setting 1 to 3 cm and 70 kg. The block is almost subcutaneous. Sonoanatomy of intrascalene brachial plexus block. Sonoanatomy is mandatory for conduct of every block. We place the probe in the neck at C6 vertebra and identify the Chesnock tubercle of the C6 vertebra. This is in the surface marking. This is at the level of cricoid cartilage. You can see the picture in next slide. At lateral border of sternocleidomastoid muscle. Brachial plexus can be tracked up from the subclavian artery. Usually we keep the probe same like supraclavicular fossa and identify the subclavian artery and identify the division of the brachial plexus and track them up until they become the trunks. Ventral rami of C4, 5, 6, 7, 8, T1 unite to form 3 trunks which are anterolaterally one over the other like a traffic signal light sign on ultrasound. You can see in the next diagram, we have to identify anterior scalene and middle scalene muscle. We use the part maneuver for our best view. At this level, brachial plexus is sandwiched between anterior scalene and middle scalene muscles in interscalene groove. The cards of the brachial plexus look like blood vessel. We can differentiate easily between the card and the blood vessel by color Doppler ultrasound or by compression. The veins are collapsible, the artery is pulsatile, and the cards are a fixed structure. This is a diagram showing the vertebral artery just beside the lower trunk. We must be careful not to puncture this artery and to avoid any solution of local anesthetic inside the artery because very small volume can cause dreadful complication. Patient can develop fit and may become unconscious. So this diagram is also showing the place of injecting the solution, which is between upper and middle trunk, to be on safe side. And same situation we can do when we are doing the out of plane technique. We should not reach the lower trunk. This is a diagram in which part maneuver is explained. Part comprises of 4 words: P-A-R-T. P means pressure, A means alignment, R means rotation, and T means tilt. In first part P, we press the probe against the tissue to visualize the structures clearly. In the second part A, in which we do the alignment, means lateral, medial, upward, forward movement to view the best sonoanatomy. In the third is rotation, in which we can rotate the probe to have a best view. In the fourth part, which is T, in this we tilt the probe to bring the best view. This is a diagram showing C6 vertebra and a prominence chest neck tubercle, which is only available in C6. This is a diagram showing traffic signal sign in interscalene area. This is a diagram showing anterior scalene, middle scalene, sternocleidomastoid muscle, internal jugular vein, and carotid artery. Brachial plexus is sandwich as parts between 2 scalene muscle. We come from lateral to medial in the interscalene groove in in-plane technique, or we can penetrate from the skin direct into the interscalene groove. Making position of interscalene brachial plexus block. Head end of bed is elevated to avoid bending of the apparatus. Patient position is supine position or semi-recumbent. We give the pillow support to relax the neck muscles and push pillow away from the operative side, the neck on edge of the pillow. Neck is resting on the edge of the pillow, so we give space for hand movement. We bump under the scapula by the same pillow, and head is turned away from the operative side. The arm is adducted, shoulder and hand should be pulled down to reach the knee to fix the area. This diagram showing the position for ultrasound guided interscalene brachial plexus block. We are coming from lateral to medial. Conduct of the block. Sonoanatomy is done always before preparing and draping the block area. Sterile preparation of the area is done, and area is isolated with 4 towels or a single hole sheet. We always use puncture site analgesia. We position the probe in the neck at the level of the cricoid cartilage. Identify the cervical 6 vertebra by chest neck tubercle. We also see the lateral border of the interscleromastoid muscle in our view under the skin. We identify anterior scalene and middle scalene muscle. Identify trunks of brachial plexus appearing as a traffic signal light sign, one above the other. We penetrate the skin and we penetrate the anterior scalene muscle, targeting between upper and middle trunk from lateral to the medial. When we penetrate myofascial sheath of interscalene groove, we inject 15 ml in small increments, 1 ml, 2 ml or 3 ml. We always keep an eye on the shaft of the needle and keep an eye on the bevel cut. And we don't move until the bevel cut is visible and the shaft of the needle is visible. Total volume ranges from 10 to 15 ml. This all depends on the spread of solution under direct vision. Intraoperative care. We need full standard monitoring as for general anesthesia throughout the procedure. We avoid hypothermia and use full body bear hugger. We test motor and sensory block before tourniquet and incision. We isolate the limb by full screen. Pseudoanalgesia can be given. Alternatively, we maintain close communication with the patient. In case of inadequate block, get ready to convert into GA. We monitor for the local anesthetic systemic toxicity and keep ready rapid emulsion in OR. Postoperative care. Protect patient from injury with arm string, which can be fallen down accidentally. Inform patient about time of return of sensation in perioperative period. We exchange mobile cell numbers to contact in case of problem and queries. We allow early mobility. We allow early resumption of food and drink, and early physiotherapy is allowed. Clinical tips. Put ultrasound machine in front of your eyes on the contralateral side for best view. Sonoanatomy is must before practical conduct of the block. We use a sterile technique. Orientation of the probe may be in plane or out of plane may be used. This is a good place for catheter placement. We use the color Doppler to avoid the blood vessels in this area, especially vertebral artery, which is near to the lower trunk on the medial side of the lower trunk. Reaching the lower trunk is not our aim. We can differentiate between the blood vessel and the trunk by the pulsatile movement of the artery and by the color Doppler. So we have to differentiate every trunk. It could be blood vessel, artery or trunk. And we use color ultrasound to differentiate between these. We inject with hydrodissection under direct vision, and optimal volume is 15 ml. Sometimes 10 ml is sufficient, but this will be decided on spread of local anesthetic under direct vision. Inject in small increment 1 ml, see the spread, and then inject 5 ml. We don't move the needle until full length is visible with bevel cut. We avoid intranuclear injection by one nerve stimulator at setting of 0.1 millisecond at 0.1 milliampere. We avoid injecting the drug if the patient complains of pain or cries. We look for the injection pressure. If it is increased more than 15 pounds per square inch, we stop giving drug. And of course, we see the drug spreading under direct vision. Thanks.